Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Dear students, welcome at Chaitanya Studio, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, and today we are going to discuss Human Resource Management course BBA Regular 302, wherein we are going to start with Block 3, Unit number 1, Employee Welfare and Well-being. In previous session, we have completed with Block 2. This side, Dr. Jignesh Trivedi, Associate Professor, Narayana Business School. So let's start the topic of welfare and well-being, Block 3, Unit 1. So we have discussed basic functions of HRM, that is Recruitment, Training and Performance Appraisal, in previous block. Now in this block, we would like to discuss things like what could be the welfare options available before employees or workers. So learning objective of this particular module would be what is employee safety and welfare, what type of measures available before employers, how employee safety measures would be provided, and what could be the objectives behind that, why employee safety is required, steps in employee safety program. So employee benefits, as you all aware, when the word benefits comes in picture, automatically our eyes becomes shiny. Like what advantages are there? If you can see from this PPT, like it's about any sort of security, it's about meal breaks, free transportation, free holiday packages, club membership, some sort of aids for family members, medical allowances, kind of teaching aid, and not a lot more. So benefits like along with and apart from the regular salary or wages, what other things could be available for the people, those who are working in and around for that organization. So that's what employee benefits mean. Let's check the formal definitions given by our scholars. N.M. Joshi has mentioned that labor welfare, which covers all efforts which employers make for the benefits of their employees over and above working condition fixed by Factories Act as well as some provisions of social legislation. Labor Investigation Committee says welfare is about anything which would be done for the intellectual, physical, moral or economic betterment of the workers, of whether employees, like both are one and the same interchangeably, we have to consider here, by government or any agencies over and above what is laid down by the law or what is normally expected as part of that contractual benefits for which the workers may have bargained. Like what is mentioned as part of the contract, what is there as per the law, that is fine. But if there is something beyond, something extra, then what has already been told by the law, that comes under the category of labor welfare. Now here labor welfare, it is equally applicable to people, those who are working as white collar or blue collar. So we have to consider welfare is for all, whether it's for an employee or for the workers, one and the same. Now features, like it's a voluntary activity, like for certain benefits, no one can force the employer. Suppose one company is offering free transportation, not necessary the other one follows. Activity which is over and above the statutory obligations, like government has said that you should provide canteen facility if certain number of workers are there. then that's fine. Canteen is there. But subsidized meal should be given or not, that is up to that employer. Objectives and strategies of the organization provide a broad outline that what are the policies, like any employee or worker has that right at the time of joining to know about that what are the benefits would be available out and out from that salary and wages component. So they can ask if policy is there, you can help them to know. If those things would be provided, it helps to enhance mental, physical, intellectual and moral well-being of the employees. So it's a win-win situation for both employees as well as employer. If it is to be provided, it will be beneficial to both the parties. It's a continuous process. It is not something one fine day you have provided and some other day automatically you said it won't be available from now onwards. That's not possible. Now let's check upon some objectives. So welfare creates motivational environment, cooperation would be there. Long-term aim to achieve level of productivity and performance. If you care for employees, in turn, employees will care for your company. Organization aims to create goodwill among the labor market. If you can make your people happy, people themselves and their family members, those who are stating outside the company but will circulate good words for your company, for the employer, automatically you will have a very good brand reputation that which you can encash. It creates a strong bond of loyalty between two parties. Employees or workers should not feel they are mere servants, but they are the equal shareholders, which means they have equal rights in an organization only if they have been treated equally. Now, what are the statutory welfare facilities? Like as per law, these are mandatory ones every company ought to offer. Company को provide करना ही है. First, Factories Act 1948. So there are certain provisions. Factories Act 1948, it's a huge document. So it is somewhat difficult to cover entire stuff. Few of those important ones, let's focus upon them. Employees should ensure the welfare including health and safety of the employees. So specifically when people are working in factories or mines or in hazardous condition, employer has to very much careful in order to make sure their health and their safety. Ultimately, it should be on priority list. Second, workplace should have hygiene, which means it should be neat and clean. So that's the duty of employer to offer workplace which is very much clean, so that people have that enthusiasm and people should remain out of any sort of disease. Drinking water facility should be made available. Here the word should, but which doesn't mean you will spare to provide. If you don't provide, workers can complain over it. So you have certain number of employees or workers in the premises, you have to offer drinking facilities without making any excuses. And if no facilities are nearby, employer has to make sure workers should have drinking water. Anyhow, that expense has to bear by the employer. Adequate number of toilet facilities. As you all aware, unfortunately in our country, still this is an issue. But as far as workplaces are concerned, adequate number of toilets. In case of male and female workers, then separate number of toilets would be available in proportion of number of people in both the genders available in your organization, and it should be within the premises. Sitting arrangement should be proper in such a manner people are working for number of hours, they should not get unnecessarily tired or they should not have any physical issues. Factory must have a first aid box. So it is required. Like in schools and colleges, it is mandatory. So is the case with factories. You should have first aid kit so that any unforeseen event could happen. You can manage and you can reduce the danger as much as possible. You can mitigate the risk. More than 250 employed canteen facility should be there wherein a meal would be provided at reasonable cost. That is being expected. Sufficient number of shelters, restrooms and lunch rooms with water facilities in case of more than 150 people. So restrooms, again male female workers separate restrooms are required, and lunch rooms wherein during lunch time people can sit and people can have their food, that should be provided by the employer without having any excuses. Crunchies should be there when you have employees wherein more than 30 are female employees. In case of the females having their babies, then crunchies should be there. Let's move up on second Contract Labor Act 1970. Contractor having more than 100 employees must provide one or more canteen facilities in the premises. That comes under the duty of contractor. Restroom facilities should be provided where work related night staying by contract is required. Sufficient number of drinking water, toilet as well as washing facilities. So things which we just have seen in case of Factories Act would equally be applicable over here. Now let's check upon non-statutory welfare facilities. Statutory were the ones made compulsory for the companies to offer. Non-statutory, it is with the discretion of an organization whether to offer or not. Transportation facilities. Generally companies, those who are not in household areas or near residential areas but far away, then they tend to offer transportational facilities at free of cost or at very concessional rupees, that in terms of that should be provided. Housing facilities, in many companies it has been provided that residential facilities are given within premises or nearby premises by company itself. Education facilities, like companies like Reliance, ONGC, they do have their schools and colleges wherein workers and employees' kids can study. So that is there. Recreational facilities, like you'll have indoor games, you'll have outdoor games, people can play in their free time or during break time, that could be possible and that has to be provided by the employer. Canteen facilities, though it has been mentioned mandatorily after certain number of employees or workers in the premises, but yes, company can offer, and there are many companies having wonderful canteens, like most of the staff tend to prefer food from the canteen, both hygiene as well as tasty. Insurance facilities, like it could be available to that main person, like the job holder, and many a times dependents on him or her, so that mediclaim life insurance has been offered by the organization. Flexi time facilities, again this comes under benefits, like people have certain other responsibilities or people who have completed their task on time and they would like to go somewhere in order to complete something equally important. So if company is helping them to manage their schedule in such a manner, they can go there and they can complete task here and then they will leave for some another work which is of equal importance. So that flexi time option would consider to be very strategic benefit for the employees or the workers. Welfare facilities which would be inside factory premises, like something which would be available within the company premises, that is within intramural, we can say company premises, that is available. Let's say you have provided ATM on company's gate, or you have provided a small clinic within company premises. So there are facilities like you have indoor room where you can play certain indoor games within company premises. Welfare facilities outside factory premises, like you have your factory and within 2 kilometers or 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers radius, a school is available where your kids can go and study, or a supermarket is available where you can go and make shopping, or a kind of gymnasium available where you can go and make yourself fit. So this could be the examples where facilities are there but not within campus, outside the premises. Women and child welfare. Now understand, when we talk about health and safety or in general welfare, then that's majorly portion would be bifurcated to male candidates. So that's why it is clearly and somewhat separately mentioned that what about women and what about child welfare. So when we consider females, those who are the major portion in your workforce, or at some time you have kids associated with working mother, so what are the welfare facilities available for them? How you'll manage when they are working in substantial number, which is difficult to ignore. So you have to find out what are the possible options available before them. Now let's check merits and demerits of welfare measures. First, check upon what are the merits. That what could be the advantages. Number one, and crystal clear, you can retain people. लोग आपके साथ जुड़े रहेंगे if you are providing benefits which are required by them and which are useful to them. Once you can be successful in retaining people, then second would be the byproduct. You can have improvisation in your productivity as well as efficiency. Why? Because you can retain good people. है ना, काम चोरों को तो हम रखेंगे नहीं, ऐसे लोगों को रखेंगे या ऐसे लोगों को जाने नहीं देंगे जो सही में कंपनी के एसेट्स है. Better focus on work, and people those we got success in retaining, they'll focus on their work. काम करेंगे, अच्छे से काम करेंगे. It preserve physical and mental health. So when you are offering benefits which would be very much helpful to the people, so what happens? People tend to remain fit. People will find physical and mental peace because they are in requirement of certain stuff which you have been offered. Now they don't have much worry. Employees' standard of living is going to get improved. What happens? Like you keep on offering certain benefits as per the market expectations and as per the requirements. So if you offer such benefits, in a way it will be very much helpful to those employees or workers, and ultimately it will raise their standard of living. Cordial relationship, it's a bonus. Why? Because it is not something you have offered free shoes to only one person or one employee of a team or an organization. No, you have offered free shoes to each and everyone, those who are working at whichever level in the organization. So what happened? By looking at each other's new shoes, people would be happy and people would not have any harm to work together, because a kind of cordial relationship starts to build up. Now let's check upon part B, that is limitation. Every coin had two sides. So if you can say these were the all advantages, now there are some issues. Let's check upon them one by one. First, labor cost is going to get increased. Why? Because you are offering things to them, and it is something most of the time whatever you are offering, when you can try to figure out the monetary price of that, you can get to know that how much you are spending on an individual. So labor cost is going to get increased. Second, how to measure. Like suppose you have increased a salary, or you have provided freebies, or someone has learned something because you helped. Now how fast you can utilize, or how fast you can measure that whatever things have been learned properly or not. Expenditure cannot be justified. Like you have said last time, we have provided everyone's shoes in the range of 500. This time, due to inflation, we try to provide rupees 750 in order to have new shoes. But this is something like, why 500 was last year and 750 this time? So you cannot justify. कंपल्जन ऑफ क्रिएशन ऑफ फैसिलिटी, अब ये क्या है, एक बार दे दिया आपने तो फिर वो हर बार देना जरूरी है. अब आप कोई स्टेट्यूटरी बेनिफिट्स का दिक्कत नहीं है, बट नॉन स्टेट्यूटरी और सर्टेन बेनिफिट्स विच आर प्योरली कंपनी टू कंपनी डिपेंड अपॉन. नाउ इन दैट केस व्हाट हैपन, समटाइम्स company has provided for a year or provided for next year, third year unfortunately company did not have a good time, which means company could not generate profit. That time company failed to offer those benefits which was earlier provided. So what happened, people will started having strikes, lockouts, or people will try to say that company ने हमारे साथ धोखा किया. Company was about to offer but now company is not offering. So this could be the limitations of welfare measures. Now what about employee safety? So if we consider when Monde, employee safety involves protecting employees from injuries caused by work related accident. घर पे हुआ तो कुछ नहीं है, ऑफिस में अगर होता है तो safety, both physical and psychological safety is present when people are free from being bodily harmed. So it should not be limited to only physical safety. Mental should always be an important one. Now what are the objectives to provide employee safety? First, to avoid accidents, we can reduce the cost, we can improve employee satisfaction and commitment. Legal compliance is like, these are certain things mandatorily every company has to offer, and so as we, industrial relations would become very much strengthened because of this, very strong, because you are taking care of employees. In a way, they'll go outside and they'll convey the same. Then formalize the safety process and program. Nothing is on paper. Everything has been mentioned very clearly. Workshops have been provided, question answer have been solved. Now people have an idea what to do. And still, if they cannot, which means there is some issue with the program. Now what are the types of accidents? Interesting one. Unsafe condition, unsafe act, other conditions. Unsafe conditions like you are working on machine and machine does not have proper brake. Now what happened? You try to load something, but in the other hand, it was not available. It was available, but it was not safe. That is unsafe conditions. Unsafe act, like we are driving company's vehicle outside company premises and intentionally we made rash driving. We do that rash driving, and because of what happened, people got injured along with us. So that is unsafe act. And third, what are the other conditions? Like there could be some issue with the process, there could be some issue with the way training has been provided to such employees or workers. If they don't have an idea about training, then also this could be possible. Now what are the steps which would be involved in employee safety program? assess the danger. सेफ्टी के बारे में सोच रहे हो तो डर के बारे में सोचना ही पड़ेगा, धोखे के बारे में, in terms of not intentionally, but sometimes when people are working, some people from other department or same department could try to harass, so that could be possible. Review the existing safety measures. Now when you think about possible dangers, you have to check what very much sensitive things have already been happened and what are our reaction for that. Safety devices information, like we have been provided all those tools and instruments, but whether it has been instructed properly and on machine the other parts have been instructed properly or not. Safety training, as I told you, I have given all of you a gun, but I don't teach anyone how to shoot a target. Just similar to that, instruments are there, but training is more mandatory. Safety compliance and verification. Like whenever you are working in such kind of environment, there would be some sort of compliance are there and you are supposed to provide better information and you have to fulfill. Then periodic review of all those safety standards. It's not like that once in a blue moon you have put fire extinguisher. It's been 15 years and you have not changed. So please be careful. On 16th year, all of a sudden if fire is going to crack down, then your extinguisher will not work because it's been 15-year-old. Now it remains an ineffective bottle only. Now why safety is required? If not, human life will be in danger. If not, employer will suffer financially. If not, employees will charge heavy premium from insurance. If you don't have any safety policies, then what happen? Company has to pay huge premium. Then punitive measures for lapses in safety. There are punishment areas. अगर आप safety parameters पे work करते हो तो we can figure out where are those areas. If no, then we cannot figure out. What are the essentials of an effective safety program? Safety goals should be crystal clear. क्या चीज में compromise होगी और क्या चीज में नहीं होगी. Proper safety strategies. There should everything be strategized. Well-defined responsibilities and accountabilities. If this has some issue, whom to meet, whom to approach. So responsibilities and accountabilities should both be defined. And safety awareness and campaigns. आपने एक बार नया सिस्टम इंप्लीमेंट कर दिया, not necessary on that same day everyone would remain present. People are not well, people have some other issues or people were occupied in some other work. So that's your duty that you should run a campaign and you should make sure that all people are well aware about this. Then there would be on-time safety revision, at least once in a year. That should be there. The way we are updating antivirus, the same way we have to update essentials of safety programs. So dear students, in general, this was about employee safety and employee well-being. So health and safety, whether it is employees or workers, it creates an immense importance for an employer, because ultimately employers are responsible to maintain health and safety in proper format for the people, those who are coming down to work. So by providing benefits which are statutory and by offering things which will keep their morale high, employer can expect good work from the employees. So this was about well-being and health and safety part. Let's meet up soon for the next topic. Till then, thank you so much. Have a great learning.
स्वाध्यायः परः